There is something special about certain racing games from the 90s. They weren't really trying to simulate every tire compound and that sort of nonsense. They weren't like measuring suspension geometry or recreating thousands of real-world car parts. They simply wanted players to sit down, hit the gas, and have fun. Some of those games actually disappeared from time. Others became classics, and then there was Top Gear. See, for an entire generation of Super Nintendo owners, Top Gear wasn't just another racing game sitting on a shelf, and also including, Sega Genesis era. It was one of the defining races of the 16-bit era. The speed felt incredible for its time. The split screen became the source of countless afternoons spent competing with friends. The World Tour format made every race feel like part of a larger journey. And perhaps most famously of all, the soundtrack became one of the most beloved collections of racing game music ever created. Even decades later, in fact, players still recognize those themes almost instantly. That enduring popularity is exactly why rumors and discussions surrounding a potential Top Gear remake continue to appear across gaming communities right now. And to be clear, no official Top Gear remake has been announced. There is currently no confirmed project in development from Kemco or any other major publisher. However, conversations surrounding the possibility never seem to disappear, and many retro gaming communities continue discussing what a modern version of the classic racer could look like now. The game's lasting reputation also has kept that idea alive for years, and honestly, when you think about it, the timing may just be better than ever now. The gaming industry is currently experiencing a massive resurgence of classic franchises. Over the last several years, per se, publishers have actually shown increasing interest in bringing older properties back to life. Sega alone has confirmed that major revivals of classic franchises such as Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, and Jet Set Radio remain in active development. So that trend has caused many players to revisit another question, which is, if so many legendary franchises are returning, why not Top Gear? After all, the original game already possesses something that many modern races actually struggle to achieve now. It has personality. When players remember Top Gear, they don't usually talk about technical expectations, they just remember racing through different countries. They remember carefully managing fuel, they remember overtaking traffic at high speeds while trying not to lose momentum. Most importantly, they remember how effortlessly fun the experience felt, and that simplicity may actually be its greatest strength. Modern racing games often pursue realism above everything else. There's absolutely a place for that approach, but it also creates an opportunity for something different. A modern Top Gear remake wouldn't need to compete directly with simulation-heavy franchises like Forza. Instead, it could embrace the sim philosophy that made the original successful. Fast cars, beautiful locations, simple controls, instant excitement. The best arcade racers, in fact, have always understood that formula. Like, imagine starting a race through a modern recreation of Las Vegas at sunset. Neon lights begin reflecting across the road as traffic becomes denser. The soundtrack then starts building cars weave through traffic at speeds that would just make real-world engineers nervous. The objective isn't realism, it's momentum, it's excitement. It's that feeling of constantly wanting to see what's around the next corner. That's what made the original game work, and that's what a remake would need to preserve. One of the most exciting possibilities involves visual presentation. The original Top Gear used Mode 7 technology on the Super Nintendo to create an illusion of speed that felt groundbreaking at the time. Today, developers have access to technology that can create entire continents with incredible detail. So a remake could transform the original's World Tour concept into something spectacular. Players could race through massive desert highways, coastal roads, snowy mountain routes, crowded urban environments, and tropical landscapes, while preserving the pick-up and play accessibility to define the original experience. The beauty of the concept is that it doesn't require radical invention. The foundation's already, it works. What it needs is expansion. The soundtrack, let's say, would likely become one of the most important parts of any remake discussions right now. Ask longtime fans what they remember most about Top Gear, and many will immediately mention the music. A modern remake would face an interesting challenge right now. Do you completely reinvent those songs, or do you modernize them while preserving their identity? Well, most fans would probably argue for the second one. Like, imagine hearing those iconic melodies rebuilt using modern production techniques while maintaining the same emotional energy that players remember from the original game. And that alone would be enough to trigger nostalgia for like millions of players right now, even new players. Multiplayer, on another hand, could become another major selling point. Back in 1992, split-screen multiplayer felt revolutionary. Today, online functionality opens entirely new possibilities. Friends could compete across global leaderboards, participate in tournaments, customize championships, and race together regardless of the location. Yet the game would need to become overly complicated, and that's an important distinction. Many remakes struggle because they add so many systems that they actually lose sight of what made the original appealing. Top Gear succeeded because players could understand it almost immediately. You selected a car, and in a race you chased victory. That clarity remains valuable. In fact, it may be more valuable today than ever. Modern gaming audiences often appreciate experiences that respect their time. Not every game needs endless progression systems, battle passes, or just hundreds of hours of grinding. Sometimes players simply want to race. So a remake that understands that philosophy could find a surprisingly large audience now. A remake that understands that philosophy could find a surprisingly large audience. Community discussions often highlight exactly that point. Retro gaming fans continue describing Top Gear as one of the most memorable racing experiences of its era because it focused on delivering straightforward enjoyment rather than overwhelming complexity. Many players still revisit the game today because its design remains approachable and satisfying. So the current success of retro-inspired games also work in its favor, the idea. Perhaps, you see, the most important question, however, is not whether a remake would look impressive. Of course it would. The real question is whether it would or could capture the feeling that made the original memorable. That feeling wasn't created by graphic alone. It wasn't created by technology, it came from freedom. Every race felt like an adventure, every location felt like a distinction, every championship felt like a journey around the world. There was always another road waiting ahead, another city, another challenge, another opportunity to prove you were faster than everybody else. That's the magic any remake would need to preserve. Not the exact visuals, not the exact mechanics, the spirit. Because the original Top Gear represented a particular era of gaming when developers focused relentlessly on creating experiences that were easy to learn, difficult to master, and almost impossible to stop playing. We've seen forgotten series return. We've seen unlikely returns become reality. Publishers rediscover the value of their history. And if that trend continues, few racing games feel more deserving of a second chance than Top Gear. Because for millions of players, it wasn't just a racing game, it was one of the first great road trips in gaming. A journey across continents, a soundtrack they never forgot, and a reminder that sometimes the most memorable adventures begin with nothing more than an open road and a full tank of gas.